Hey, Merry Christmas, Calvary family. We are excited to be with you for our online service today, this Christmas Eve. We've got a fun thing planned. We have two services.
Jam-packed day today.
2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, but we're going to be streaming the entire thing.
4 hours.
Something like that.
A little longer.
Is it?
Well, hold on.
1:30 to 5:15?
Yeah,
no, a little less than 4 hours.
No, a little over 4 hours. It's almost 5 hours. I can't do math in my head right now.
No, it's less than 4 hours.
You're right. I'm dumb. I can't do math.
Two services. Anyway, so
This
good to be
really
with you. So good to be with you today. We are going to be looking at Mary, the mother of Jesus. We're going to be looking at her story, but we're going to be doing it in. We're going to be looking at her story in reverse. So starting with the Ascension.
Clearly, I've been paid attention to this.
Starting with the Ascension, and then that'll lead us to ending with
His birth.
The birth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think meant like the day of Jesus' birth, like going from when he was born to whenever she found out.
Anyway, super excited about that. My name is Brad, joined by Mitch.
Yeah.
If you have watched our online service, you are familiar with our banter, and we got some games, and then we've got Pete and Amy Arnson, who are going to be out in the lobby. They're going to be doing some man on the street type questions, just interacting with people in our church.
Some sideline reporting, if you will. This
Yes.
is like our pregame show.
This is our Super Bowl, man.
Great comparison. I love that. I was thinking about it, but it was either that or Easter. But
yeah. Well, Easter's probably the Super Bowl, but this one's not bad.
No, not at all. This is our all-star game.
Hey, we've got just encourage you to invite somebody. Just throw the digital invite out there. We'll have a button that pops up that you can do that really easily if you're watching on our website. Otherwise, just share the link from YouTube or the app. And then our Connect card. If you are joining us for the first time, if you're traveling, if you have information or contact information that you need to be updating, if you have questions that you want to ask, or if you just want to say, hey, Merry Christmas, use the Connect card, calvary.church/connect. Again, if you're on our website, there will be a button that pops up that you can click there. And then we've got a question that we're going to wrestle with. We're going to ask each other. It's not really wrestling. It's just a fun.
This is it. There's not much wrestling with this question.
No, this isn't Festivus. So there's not a whole lot of wrestling happening at Calvary Church on Christmas Eve.
Can we? Never mind. No, that's too much. We'll ask that a different time.
Anyway, the question is this: what's one of your favorite Christmas traditions? Mitch, what do you got?
So, man, my family is like basic. But my favorite Christmas tradition with my family is that once a year, near the Christmas time, of course, we invite my grandparents over to my parents' house, and we watch Home Alone with them. But it's not on Christmas Day or on Christmas Eve. It's like a week before Christmas, because that's like our designated day to watch Home Alone with them. So that's like our Christmas tradition. We also have like a big, like, my dad's side of the family is pretty big, and so like he's got like 4 or 5 siblings, and so we have like a big like Christmas brunch with them like a few weeks before, because it's hard to get together all on Christmas Day.
It's true.
Right.
As everybody gets older, it's just harder to...
Right. It's so hard to get together, and so, or plan around it. And so with families becoming bigger families and everything like that. So like 3 weeks before Christmas, we'll have like a big Christmas brunch, rob your neighbor kind of thing. So yeah.
Awesome.
What about you?
Awesome. So Christmas Eve, my family gets together, and we just make every app you can think of. Ooh. So every appetizer, we play games. It's a whole lot of fun. It's definitely one of my favorite. I like that. And then also the 26th, we don't schedule anything. And like, there's just something about that as well. So we'd love to hear from you as you're joining us today. We're gonna be asking that question several times. Would love to just hear from you. What's one of your favorite Christmas traditions? You can put that in the chat on YouTube. You can put it on the chat on our website. You can text it in if you want to just text into our phone number, 636-939-4343, and share your Christmas tradition that way. You can do that. All right, so we're going to start. We've got a game that we're going to play. I didn't do Did They Candy Cane It? I thought about it because we were together. But the first game we are going to play is it's a game called. I have to look at my notes. We've got so much stuff on here today.
I know we do. It's the game up there.
Yeah, okay. Finish that Christmas lyric.
Oh, no.
You ever do trivia and do like to finish the lyric?
Yes, and I'm like terrible at them,
I'm
so
terrible
thank you.
At that. So let's put that first one. Oh, we are
on the move.
We're doing this live.
I know, we forgot, and it's okay. But guess what? You know what? We're here for it.
All right.
Finish that Christmas lyric.
So again, there will be
This phrase.
Yeah, phrase and then finish. Okay, so the first one. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright.
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Was there a question mark?
Well, I can't guide. Yeah, I think it's
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Oh, I guess it is a question mark.
Yeah.
Good job.
I was right.
Good job,
I was like, there
Mitch.
is a question mark at the end of it because he's asking Rudolph.
All right, let's do one more of those.
I felt like I was right about that.
No, you were. All right, Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know
That he came to life one day.
that he came to life one day. I'm gonna go with how.
Oh!
Yes.
is
How
this
he
madness?
came to life one day. All right, we're gonna be playing these games back and forth.
I have a question.
throughout the time.
How long ago do you think Frosty the Snowman was written? Like, I have no idea.
50s?
Like, I need to know that answer because,
Yeah,
like, I need to
50s?
know how.
If you know the answer, please throw that in the chat.
1950.
1950?
1950.
Like exactly?
1950 exactly.
Oh, I feel good.
How do you there?
All right. Hey, wanted to just highlight a couple things that our church has been doing. One of the ways, I just want to say thank you, actually, church. One of the ways that we support families in our community is through our food pantry and through Weekend Hunger Project. Right. So food pantry, every Wednesday, families, they come up, they get bags that our church has food that the church has donated, and then packed. And one of the things I love about our food pantry is the ladies who run it. They put together like special, whether it's like birthday packages or like holiday packages, awesome. Like so for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. Anyway, super cool. So church, thank you so much. You can always drop food off at one of our main entrances. There's baskets. And then the Weekend Hunger Project, what that is kids in the schools are often taken care of. With families who are in need, the schools provide food. But on the weekends, obviously they don't because they're not in school. And so the Weekend Hunger Project seeks to fill that gap. They fill backpacks and the kids at the school get it. They get to take it home. And then the family has food that weekend. And so really just thankful and grateful for our church for all the ways that you show up for people in need. All right, let's. I think are we ready to go? Maybe out to the lobby and check in with Pete and with Amy. I think maybe hopefully they found someone, maybe a staff member. Looks like Matt Bayer maybe, or he's running away.
Oh no, we got him.
All right, we got him. All right, let's go check in, see what's happening out in our atrium.
We're live. Brad, thanks for pitching it to us. If you did, fantastic. Really appreciate the hospitality. We are joined by Matt Bayer as we are live out in the street. Matt, that mic is hot, so whatever you say is...
Hot hands.
Hot hands, he says. Kansas City Chiefs are playing right now. Yeah. It's Christmas time.
17-0. Last I saw it.
17 fantasy implications for you?
Yes, McKinnon is running back who scored 30-plus in the past 2 weeks. So... Good thing he's on my bench.
So, love it when a plan comes together. Matt, we've got some very important questions for you, and we're going to take a stab. I think we're going with questions number 1 and 2, which I believe, if memory serves correctly, I'm not flipped to the correct page, but Matt, give us your favorite all-time Christmas song.
All-time favorite Christmas song. It's a new one. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line just came out with the Christmas album.
It's very good.
And Jordan Mailata is amazing. White Christmas, I think is one. That one is my favorite.
Perhaps, Peter, you can cue that up for us post-service. If memory serves correctly, I think he has a great falsetto. Done a lot of scouting, watched the film. Very, very good. So, Matt, great choice with favorite Christmas song. Secondly, we want to go to the inverse of that, which is, what is your perhaps least favorite Christmas song?
Least favorite Christmas song. You know the song that plays during the movie Christmas Shoes?
Ooh. Sir, I want to buy these shoes.
That one. I want to buy these shoes. Instant tears and sadness to this day. Like, I can't. I watched that movie when I was like 7. Still weep every time I watch or hear that song. So that's called Trauma, but it was a beautiful show or movie or whatever. That one.
I had a fraternity brother in college who actually made tons of fun of that song. Absolutely hated it. So you're joined with good company by John Paul.
Speak more about that friend.
But absolutely, we certainly can offline. We're going to pitch it back to the home team, but we're here for all of your fantasy football implications. We're here to celebrate Christmas, and we're here to rag on Christmas shoes. So Brad and team, back to you.
Next segment, who has the worst shoes? Who's the worst Christmas shoes?
Okay, so now I have to ask you.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite Christmas song? We're in it. We're in it now.
Yeah, it's probably just because it's played so much.
Yep.
Like, I know she's the Queen of Christmas.
No, wait, hold on.
I know she's the Queen of Christmas. It's gonna go. Okay.
Now you're pulling back on it.
I don't know.
No. Just dive right into it.
There's another
Brad.
song that I also
dive
don't
right
love.
into it.
Yeah, Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Like, it's a fantastic song. I would like to hear it just a little bit less.
Well, yeah.
I think if
102.5 plays that like once every hour.
I think it's like on the quota. Like, if it's more than once an hour.
Oh, it has to be.
I think so. So anyway, there's that. There's also. I hesitate bringing this up because our service today is all about Mary's story.
Yeah.
But Mary, did you know?
Really?
Like, well, I just want to be like, yes, she did. Read Luke.
Read
right?
all the Gospels,
like,
please.
She did know this.
She knew what she was getting herself into.
But I don't know. As I've gotten a little bit older, I've come to appreciate that song a little bit. But 10 years ago, I would have been like hard. Like, I don't want to hear that song ever.
Fair enough.
What about you?
Easy for me is "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas." Terrible, terrible song. It sounds like a screeching little girl singing it whenever you hear it. It's because someone is. And then also, I'm so sorry, but "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." I also said that like wrong 4 different ways there. But I think I've heard that like so many times just throughout my life, and I think that's like the one that 99 Joy FM plays all the time too.
Yeah.
So
We'd love to hear from you. Favorite Christmas song, least favorite Christmas song.
Please.
Just throw that in the chat.
Maybe feel better.
as well. We have a lot of fun happening here at the church. We have Carla Curry out on the piano in the atrium. Do we want to get a live shot of that?
Yeah, let's go. Carla, throwback to when Carla was teaching me how to play the piano. Never would I ever be able to play that good.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for my English minor really coming up big there.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Oh,
It's
never
okay.
mind.
Well, yeah, we're not going to go back to
All right, we're
Carla.
not going to go anyway.
Carla, you've been good to me.
Hey, let's go back. Let's go to another game here.
Yeah, let's do it. What do we got?
Let's stick with the finish that Christmas lyric. We'll go to the next couple slides of that. All right, I don't want a lot for Christmas. Is this the way I'm reading it? Does it help or hurt?
No, it helps. it's just like I'm not trying to remember which song it is.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents.
Underneath the Christmas tree.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it has to be.
It
Yeah.
has to be. Underneath the Christmas tree. All I want for Christmas is you. Is that Wham? Is that the?
No, it's Mariah Carey.
Oh, we just talked about that.
We were bashing for 3 minutes.
You know what? When I just read it, I lose the tune. There is a Wham song.
Well, Last Christmas.
That's what it was. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. Yeah, that one's okay. All right, let's do another one. I told you I didn't like that song. All right, Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm, all is bright.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've sang this about 14 different ways.
We're gonna sing it today.
Great.
Yeah, with candlelight.
As a 24-year-old man, you'd think I'd know the words to the song.
Silent night.
Holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child.
Round yon virgin mother
I don't know what
and
that
child.
means to
I think
me.
you got it.
What is yon?
What is yon?
What is
Round yon.
Round yon virgin.
Sounds like a band.
Really, what a really weird band name. Sounds like it would be like some 90s Christian band rock name. Oh, good lord.
All right, where are we at? Do they have?
We're at Calvary Cares.
All right, we got a couple minutes. All right, so here at Calvary, one of the things, again, we just want to be a community that is caring for one another well, that is supporting each other in the highs and the lows of life. And so if you go to our website, calvary.church/care, there's a long list of ministries, of opportunities, of support groups, anything from professional counseling to grief share, to divorce care, celebrate recovery. So many ways. I would encourage you, if especially the holiday season, like we know this time of year can bring up some really difficult things.
Yes.
And so we want to be a church that's there for one another in all of those spaces. So calvary.church/care. And then we have some events too coming up.
We do have some events
one of
coming
which we're actually going to share, Tina and I are going to share a little bit right before service, but winter camp.
I miss winter camp.
Wasn't that awesome?
I did it a lot. Well, hold on. By a lot, I mean I did like 3 times growing up. But
Yeah, winter camp.
a blast.
So for our student ministry, Fuse Student Ministry, they are going to winter camp up in Ogden, Iowa.
Where is Ogden, Iowa?
It's like outside Ames. Boone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very far away, and yet it's like always guaranteed to be 30 degrees colder there, it seems like, than it is going to be here.
Well, so are we saying it's going to be like -25?
It might be.
Oh, Lord.
It's
Are you
cold.
going?
I am not going this year, but January 13th through 16th, that's MLK weekend. Registration is live. There are a limited number of spots. You can go to our website, calvary.church/students for more information, or for any and all events, calvary.church/events.
We always have something going on here, so be sure to check that out.
Yeah, so much stuff happening. We slow down a little bit for the holidays, but in January, stuff just ramps back up.
You're right.
All right, are we ready to go back out to the atrium with Pete and Amy? Do they have?
Let's see.
Trying to
if they
see. I'm
can-
looking. I don't know if they have anyone.
I don't know. Amy's talking to someone. I got like half the camera. Or you got it. Oh, we got
Oh,
someone.
we got someone. All right. Let's go out to Pete and Amy out in the lobby. They are chatting with their questions.
Hi, I am joined by Riley Gillett, one of my 10th grade girls from Fuse, and I just have a couple questions for you. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Probably The Grinch.
The Grinch?
Yeah.
Like the new live one?
No, the old Jim Carrey one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So that.
Our kids have watched Elf and a bunch of they actually found a new Grinch that they thought was pretty scary, but they like the old one with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Okay, so our family opens Christmas presents on Christmas morning. When do you guys typically open up Christmas presents?
Christmas morning.
Christmas
Except
morning?
my brother, he's like, I want you to open them now. I want Santa to come now. So,
Do you ever open any before?
the ones from my siblings we do.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you guys do stockings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Stockings are one of my favorite. One of the most obscure stocking gifts that my mom, actually it started with my grandma, and then my sister has done it, my mom has done it, but they give us Scotch tape. And it was like one of the most useful things that was in my stocking.
yeah.
What normally is in your stocking?
Candy, pretty much. I don't know,
Candy?
candy and
Like hair ties?
Yeah,
socks,
stuff
kind of
like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, keep going. Okay. Let's see. Do you want to ask me a question?
I don't know. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Okay, so this is where I get really bad. I watched 12 episodes of a Star Wars show yesterday. I am not a Christmas show or Christmas movie watcher, but I did enjoy Elf when I first watched it. I can't remember another specific Christmas movie, which sounds terrible. I remember The Grinch.
Yeah, I don't know Christmas movies either.
I know some people. I know some people watch all of the Hallmark shows, and Pete has made me hate them because he always is like, "Oh, this is how it's gonna end," and I'm like, "You just ruined it. You just ruined it." Okay, I'm trying to think about. Okay, another thing we did growing up was we played a lot of games. Do you guys play games as a family?
Yeah.
What is a typical game that you guys play?
My parents like to play backgammon a lot. Do you know what that is? It's where there's
Wait, but it's a board with triangles and stuff.
Yeah.
With
They, are
checkers
all-
pieces
yeah,
or something?
they're
I don't know how to
always
play
fun.
that.
We don't even play it the right way. I think my dad plays it the way that's he learned in college or something. I don't know, but
My sister plays the one with the peg pieces that go around with the cards. I can't remember what that one's called either.
And it's like a circle of board.
Yeah, we did just learn how to play Parcheesi with the kids, which looks like Sorry, and it plays very similar to Sorry, but it looks like an older board. Like it's a really, I don't know, like kind of classic looking board. But yeah, I've never played backgammon. So, all right, Pete, you want to take over? Okay, he's got somebody else he's reading. Thanks for joining me. Okay.
All right, we are now joined by our oldest daughter, Lainey, and we're going to ask her a few important questions. Lainey, what was on your Christmas list this year? What's the top 5 things on the Christmas list?
My top 5 things on my Christmas wish list were like a water park Lego, Luke Skywalker's land speeder, candy,
Pardon me. What kind of candy was on your Christmas list?
sour candy, and also another one of my favorite. Another thing that I wanted for Christmas was a Nugget obstacle course thing.
Lainey, those are all really great Christmas presents ideas. Believe it or not, we got you none of those things. It's just going to be coal in the stocking this year. So pretty tough luck for Lainey. But, you know, there's always next year. So you've heard from us out on the street. We'll send it back to Studio A, where we'll begin to wrap up right here before Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's just me now, and so I'm gonna run this ship right to the start of service. I said ship, and so we're gonna go right into service. We are gonna. This is just me welcoming everyone. My name is Mitchell Sell. I am the, I don't know, I guess super volunteer here for the communications department. But we would love for you to invite, if this is your first time, we would love for you to fill out our Connect card. There will be a button in the chat, so that way we just get to know you, just kind of figure out what you're doing for Christmas. If you also just want to say Merry Christmas, we'd love to hear from you. Also, this is just a great way for us to just how to know how to better serve you moving forward. There's also going to be a link in the chat for if it isn't your first time and you're looking to invite someone. That way you can invite them. There's going to be a button that you can click, and that will copy the link, so that way you can send it off as well. Caleb, we're going to do a quick one of these real quick. We're going to do a quick finish the lyrics, and I'm going to screw this up miserably, I feel like. Whatever round yon virgin means. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. I got that. I am proud. I said our instead of the, but I'm going to still count it as a win for me. So take that, anyone who's counted me out on trivia games. So yeah, thank you for joining us for our Christmas Eve service. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like me and Brad said early on, it'll be just under 4 hours. I couldn't figure out the math earlier. I'm better at it now. It'll be a lot of fun over the next 4 hours of just getting prepared for our Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day. And so yeah, wherever you are, whoever you're with, we'd love to worship with you guys today. And Merry Christmas to you guys. We'll be back at the end of service.
Those who are online as well. We are live. We've been having some fun with our online broadcast, taking a camera out into the atrium, going back and forth with the broadcast room, playing some games. But I love this time of year. It's just so much fun to be together, to sing Christmas songs, which we're going to do in the service today. We're going to be looking at Mary's story, kind of in reverse. As we get going, if you need to update any information, or if you just want to say hello, or if you have a question about Calvary, we'd love for you to fill out our Connect card, calvary.church/connect. And then also, we're going to be, we just want to talk about a few things coming up at the church.
Oh yeah.
So we've got some events, all right, that are happening, but we have some series that we wanted to highlight that are coming up after January, or after Christmas.
In January.
In January.
Yes.
And so we've got two of them. One in January, we're going to be talking through some new vision for the church. We're going to be doing a series called The Stories Jesus Tells. And we're looking at 5 different parables of Jesus. Really excited to do that. And then following that, we're going to be in a series called The Songs We Seldom Sing, where we're looking at some different psalms that, maybe aren't praise psalms, but they're harder and they deal with some feelings and some emotions. And so
it's always good to deal with feelings and emotions.
Yes. So
not fun.
It's not fun,
but, good.
But it is good. And then after that, we also have just events happening. So we have lots of things going on. One thing that we want to highlight is for our students. So we have winter camp coming up January 13th through 16th. Where are the middle school and high school students that are in the room? Just raise your hand.
Any students out there?
You guys like to ski? Have you ever skied before? No? Okay. Well, if you go to winter camp, you'll get to ski. You'll also do, big old tobogganing.
Yeah.
And
it was always one of my kids' favorites.
It's so much fun. So you can register calvary.church/students, all events on our website, calvary.church/events. And then we also, as a church, one of the things I appreciate so much about Calvary is the impact that we make in our community and around the world.
Yeah,
and so,
for sure.
Just for an example, in the Christmas season, we had Operation Christmas Child.
We had 700 boxes that we collected, and we were like a gathering point for all the other churches in the area so that we could send them off.
So if you saw the semi-trucks in the parking lot, we packed and we put so many boxes. And those things go all around the world.
Yeah.
The whole vision for Operation Christmas Child is, one kid, one box, once in a lifetime, taking the message and the gospel of Jesus here, near, and far.
We've even had people here in our church, and I remember one of the students at Lindenwood, one of the international students, spoke up and said they had received a box.
Yeah. So we have those. We had our oil change twice a year. We change oil for families, single mothers. It's always a big impact. We had our Christmas store a few weeks ago where 43 different families, 140 plus kids were able to come and shop for Christmas. So church, thank you so much for what you do, for all the ways that you are making an impact in the lives of the...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, good.
I was just going to say, and because you can tell we're doing a lot of things and we have so many things going on. So thank you for your generosity throughout the year to allow us to be able to partner with all these different groups and love on our community here and then also around the world. And if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, this is the time of year when nonprofits often try to make up for their year and end well. And so if you haven't had a chance to do that, we'd love to have you partner with us. You can go to calvary.church/give, or we have some black boxes in the back of the room.
Yeah. Guys, I am so excited for the service today. I'm so excited for what we have planned, what the creative team, what our worship team has put together. We're going to look at the life of Mary. We're going to look at her story, the ways that Jesus shows up and impacts her and her story. We're going to sing some songs that are familiar, some different versions of those songs. We're going to have our candle lighting, and we sing Silent Night as we do every single year.
So if they're at home and they're online watching, maybe they should grab a candle.
Go light a candle, turn off the lights. It'll be great. Also, if you're online, we'd love for you to say hello. Mitch is in the chat. He would love to say hello to you. The question we're asking you is, what's one of your favorite Christmas traditions? One of my favorite is Christmas Eve. My family gets together. We eat all the appetizers, and it's a great time. But wherever you are, whomever you're with, if you're here in the room, if you're traveling, if you're at home, we get to worship the birth of Jesus together right now.
All right, would you all stand with us today? We're going to sing of this joy that came to the world to be God Emmanuel with us. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him a room, and heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. We'll sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world. We will sing, sing, sing.
mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains.
To proclaim his name. Come on. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold born the King of angels. Oh, come. all glory give. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Christ the Lord, let us adore Him. Come, let us adore Him. 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 Come, let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. 'Cause Christ is born. Let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. Come, let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. Because He's worthy to be praised. Let us adore Him. Come, let us adore Him. Let us adore Him. Oh, amen. We praise Him together. Amen. Why don't you go ahead and take a seat?
Well, welcome again. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So good to sing together. We have so much fun in store for our service today. But we wanted to start by doing something else that's kind of fun. We know that there's a lot of different kind of people. There's two kinds of people, right? There's those who have had your Christmas shopping done for weeks. Presents are wrapped. They're under the tree. Yeah, we get
That's
some
right.
claps. Yeah,
That's
you
right.
are.
You're
You
not
win.
me.
Okay. And then there's the rest of us who, maybe have some shopping that you have to finish, or at least some presents to wrap. And so we have a gift, right?
Yes. So I do have the presents all bought, but I'm notorious for wrapping last minute. So I'm just curious. Anybody else out there still have presents at home that they need
All
to
right,
wrap?
be honest. It's okay.
You
It's
can
okay.
be
Safe
honest.
place.
Yeah, raise hands.
Safe place.
So we have a gift. So we're going to narrow this down, so don't be shy. So what do you think? Should we start with, we know a lot of you probably have one or two presents, but
Yeah.
is there anybody that has at least 10 presents or more that you still need to, I
have to
see
wrap.
somebody over here.
Okay.
Somebody over there. Okay.
Yep, we got some hands.
Do you have, 15 presents or more? Did I go too high?
We still got it.
We still have, Is this
okay.
the last one? I can't see up there. Anybody up there?
We got a hand over there too.
Okay, well, let's do 20. Any 20 presents? Oh, this one went down.
All right, we have a
This
gift.
is it. Come on down here.
We have a gift wrapping kit for you to
Yes,
help out
there's
tonight. If
wrapping-
You'll send someone down.
Wrapping paper,
Wrapping paper.
and this
All
bag.
right. This other
those.
thing we've got is, if you're a parent and you have, oftentimes you've purchased something or gotten a gift that maybe has some assembly required that you weren't expecting. Thankfully this year don't have to spend hours putting together something, but does any parent out there have something they need to assemble tonight for tomorrow without spoiling it for the kids? Anyone out there? We've got a tool set, a little screwdriver
And you
set.
don't even have to be a parent.
You don't
if
have to
you're
be a
building
parent.
something.
Yeah, you don't have to be a parent.
Oh, wait, we have somebody right here.
All right,
Come on
cool.
down.
If
Come
somebody
on.
will.
Saw
yes.
you first.
Awesome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Have fun building.
Calvary Church, where honesty is appreciated.
So we have a very creative staff here at Calvary.
Yep.
And they got together and they decided to put together a children's book that tells the story that we are going to tell today. Some of you have heard it before, but we're going to tell it a little bit different. So this book goes along with the way that we are going to tell the story. And we have made the books. We have one for each family. And so the way we want to do this is if you could send up just the oldest child from your family. If that child is willing to get up and come on down, just one per family.
Yeah,
So
but up in the
send
balcony,
your,
we've got tables up there
There's
too.
a table up there, so one
Send
per
one.
family. Now, if you don't have a child in here with you, say they're over in childcare and they're your oldest child, we will have some out at the big desk that you can grab on your
Yep.
way out. Right over here, sweetheart. There
Yep.
you go.
And as the kids are coming and doing that, we recognize a lot of people came in all at once. So if you didn't get a candle to participate in the candlelight portion later, make sure to grab one of those. But also, I want to take this opportunity.
really
Oh,
quick.
go
We
for it.
had some shipping issues
Oh,
with the books.
yes, we did.
Yes, so we would love to hand out more, and we would do that, but we need to probably make a waiting list. So if you want the book and you want more, maybe for grandchildren or whatever, stop at the big desk before you leave, and they'll put your name on a waiting list.
We'll make a list and we'll check
Yes.
it twice. Anyway, hey, as we're all doing this, we have a series coming up in January. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at our vision as a church. Where is God taking Calvary into the new year? Calvary is a place where Jesus matters most, and when Jesus matters most, transformation follows. And so we will be looking at some of the parables that Jesus taught, the stories that Jesus told, and connecting those to points of vision for us as a church moving in to 2023.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the service today, just to prepare you so you know what's coming. We are going to talk about the story of Mary, and Mary's story is punctuated by the presence of Jesus. And we will look at the birth story, but we're also going to look at some other moments in Jesus' life through the eyes of Mary.
Yeah, we're going to start at the upper room and then the ascension. Mary's last moments with her son. What was she feeling? What was she experiencing in that space? And we feel like that probably reminded her, or at least helped her understand better what Jesus did on the cross.
Yeah, we'll look at that, the anguish that she must have experienced at the cross, which is, most mothers fear that most. And so we'll take a look at that.
And then we'll rewind the story a little bit more. We'll look at the first miracle that Jesus performed when he turned water into wine. And then we'll go even 18 years back when he was at the temple and Mary lost her son. What was she experiencing in that space?
And of course, we will look at the birth of Christ, and we'll take some time to sing some hymns, some Christmas hymns that are well known, and Dan will share a short message with us.
And then we're going to finish, as a congregation, we're going to recite the Magnificat together. This moment of joy that Mary experiences where she bursts out in song. And so really looking forward to that space. But let's start at the Ascension, the moment when Mary last was with her son.
There was a moment where we found ourselves all together, everyone. The past 40 days had been such a whirlwind. I still can't even fully process the highs and lows of emotions. When we showed up at the mountain he had directed us to, there was a buzz in the air, but we didn't really know why we were gathered. He had simply told us to meet him there, and I truly would have traveled anywhere just to be with him again. But something was different this time. His demeanor was different. He was anticipating something. It was a look that, as his mother, I knew so well. You could see it coming as he instructed the disciples. The way he talked to them seemed final. He told them to continue his mission. He said some words of blessing, and then he was gone. I've never experienced anything like that. The heavens opened up, and he was carried off. And at that moment, things finally clicked. I was devastated to once again be without him, but it was different this time. As much as I longed for him to be home, to be with me, I realized that his true home was with his Father, and I was overcome with joy at what my son had finally accomplished for us all. Everything was finally clear, even what had happened 40 days earlier. And in this moment, I think of the experience I had of losing him in a different way, as I remember being at the foot of the cross. Today held many thoughts and emotions for me. Memories flooded my mind of my own wedding, feelings of absolute happiness, as well as uncertainty and fear of raising the child I was carrying. I could see those anxious feelings written all over the family's face as the last of the wine was served. It was evident the shame and embarrassment of not being able to provide for their guests lay heavy on their minds. My heart ached for them, and I longed to help them. My thoughts immediately went to my son. I knew Jesus could graciously provide what the family needed, but how? I approached Jesus with this embarrassing situation for the family. He told me his hour had not yet come. I knew Jesus' heart was abounding in love, but I could have never expected that he would take those simple barrels and fill them with wine. My heart was filled with pride for my son. As I write, I also realized that performing that miracle brought his ministry into the public light. What does this mean for me as his mother? I know the prophecies. I know that I will have to share him with the world and that his purpose is bigger than my own. As his mother, I long to protect him from any burden he will have to carry. I just have to keep reminding myself, God brought him into this world to save it, and I must continue to trust in God's will and plan for his life. Come to think of it, this felt similar to the time we lost him and we found him in the temple.
So, Mary and Joseph have traveled for a day, and they realize that Jesus is nowhere to be found. So they turn back to try to go find him, and they find him in the temple among the teachers, actually offering up some insight. So when they realize they don't have him, they're probably super anxious and have some fear, probably frustration. But when they find him, he's doing something profound. What would that tension be like for you, and what feelings would come up for you if that was your child?
If I had been traveling for a day, and then all of a sudden I could not find one of my kids, it would be a deep stomach panic of where are they, what are they doing, where have they been, are they okay? And I think it would be so overwhelming that that's all you could think about is I have to find them and I have to find them now. And so I would be that way, I think, until I saw their face. And as soon as I saw their face, if they're happy and safe, then I would probably be frustrated of, oh my gosh, they're okay, relief, but where have you been? What have you been doing?
Knowing that my son was missing for a day, I would feel very stressed, very anxious, wondering what are they doing, where are they? I would go straight into complete panic mode, knowing that my child was missing.
Well, I can't relate to the length of time that a child was lost as far as, a whole day. But I lost a child at a water park for, say, 20 minutes, and that was just very, very scary and very anxiety producing. But to have a whole day go by and not have my child, I can't imagine.
If I had lost my child, I would be very anxious. I would probably go to a whole negative space, just really sense of being overwhelmed and anxious would probably be where my first thought would be.
If I had lost my child, I would feel so much shame. Like, how did I lose my child? Especially if I thought I had been at fault, like I had somehow fallen short as a parent and this was somehow my fault.
As a mother, I have often had my thoughts turn to Mary. She had to balance the reality that this beautiful child that she loved with all the natural motherly affection was also her Lord and Savior. And I think that must have been a balancing act that had to have been difficult at times. I know it would have been difficult for me. And I think that's really illustrated in the account of when Jesus goes missing. I am sure that she felt everything I would feel. She was scared, she was worried, she had all these what if questions running through her head.
But then if I heard them and I heard them saying something profound or kind or teaching or wise, it would be shocking and it would be humbling. Because to see the small little face, sometimes the things that come out of their mouth just stop you in your tracks because they're so true and they're so right. It would just be a total crash of emotions the other way, of love for them, and to see them and to want to just hold them and hug them and to hear what they're saying. It would have been from one end of the spectrum to the other, of panic and worry to super frustrated and probably a little mad that they wandered away and they were doing whatever they were doing. And then to hear their true hearts and their pure hearts and what they're trying to convey to help someone else would just stop me in my tracks. It would just make me want to hold them and hug them and love them.
After I found my child, I would just run up to them and want to hug them and love them and just know that they're okay. After I know that they're okay, I would really just listen to them, listen to their words, see what they're doing and try to reason why they're there. I would feel a sense of relief, really knowing that they're doing what I taught them to do and they're following the way. I would just love on them, hug them, hold them, want to be with them, and just feeling that sense of pride.
Then to find your child would be such a relief and such joy when you see that child. And then I can't imagine, at 12 years old, seeing what he was doing and just being amazed by that and just reminded of really what he was on the earth to do. And yet, as a mother, I think you're still raising him, and that would just be so, I don't know, just a dichotomous relationship. Yeah, I can't totally relate. I can relate to the losing my child part a little bit, but when you put yourself in Mary's shoes, it's really very difficult to imagine, but amazing, and how just awestruck at times, I'm sure, that she had to be.
Then I find them and they're doing something very profound. I just immediately would go to a sense of awe, like, oh my gosh, I would be so proud of what they were doing, what they were accomplishing. And I would be probably very emotional knowing that that's my kid and look at them, and just really, really being proud.
And then to find them and realize they're all right, yeah, there's definitely that tension of so relieved, yet so angry at my child for putting me through that, and it's just, my fear coming out in anger, definitely. To actually find my child doing something that I had taught them to do, that I had hoped I would see them do, man, all the emotions that would come through that. So much, pride at your child for choosing to do something outside of what you had ever expected them to do or had been their normal mode of behavior before then. That's the moments you live for as a parent, right? I mean, that's the thing you want to see, especially as they're starting to get older and become more mature and turn into those adults. I get the joy of seeing my children become really great adults, and you just really treasure those moments.
When they find him, he's in the temple. And he's conversing with the teachers, and he reminds her of who he is and what he's there to do. And I think if I was Mary standing there in that moment, I would feel so incredibly humbled. So when I worry about my children, I remember that Mary worried too, and that Jesus reminded her that he was in control and that she should trust him, and I should trust him too.
On Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch our keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. From our hearts our praises ring to the babe, the Son of Mary. Oh, raise a song
Perhaps you all have a seat.
While you're grabbing your seat, I'd like to say hello. My name's Dan. If we haven't had the chance to meet, I just want to share a few thoughts this Christmas Eve. You know, we're focusing on the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus. And it's not that we worship Mary, but I think you and I understand that we always celebrate the town and the team that gets the big W. We can't talk about the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals without talking about David Freese. I heard it. And we can't talk about the 2019 Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues without talking about Jordan Bennington. We can't tell the story of racial reconciliation and truly seeing our neighbor without sharing the story of Rosa Parks and her courage, what it took for her to say, "You have to see me." We should celebrate. All of us should celebrate that Mary was in on the play that brought the Savior into the world. We should celebrate that she was there in that moment, well, in the 9 months leading up and the years following. But she was more than just a conduit of the divine Son. She did more than just get Jesus from there to here. She was his mother. And you have to wonder, as his mother, was it Mary that first helped Jesus to see the poor and needy on the streets of their town? Or maybe it was Mary who first suggested to Jesus, you know, your best prayers and mine would happen in private, not in public. Maybe it was Mary who was the first mother ever in a stressful moment, was holding her glass of water and looked at it and thought, my goodness, I wish this were wine today. She's his mom. We don't know any of those particular things, but we do know that she showed up in Jesus' life in really significant moments. Mary was there in a way that you and I can't tell the story of Jesus, the Savior, without talking about Mary, his mother. That's a really special thing. When Jesus was born, we read about Jesus and Mary in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2. I'd like to read verses 1 through 7 together. It'll be on the screen if you'd like to follow along. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he, Joseph, was of the house and lineage of King David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to give birth. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. The providence of God writes Mary's story. God's sovereign timing is all over it. Who else but God could orchestrate an empire-wide census? The emperor wants to count his people, and the governor in Syria executes that order and kind of puts it into motion. And so now here's Mary, who's pregnant with her, fiance Joseph, and of course, they've had more questions than answers in this particular part of the story already, and now they have to travel to Bethlehem. They're going to go from Nazareth in Galilee to Bethlehem in Judea because it just so happens that Joseph's great was King David. And so they go, and they wind up in a place they probably didn't want to be, with circumstances they probably wouldn't have chosen, and they're here, and they're following through. They're following through on everything the angels had told them, even though, again, they had more questions than they had answers. And here they are, and the story zooms in on Mary. It says, while they were there, she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. Mary's really a special person. She'd already accepted, even without all the answers to the questions, she'd accepted that she would follow God's will for her life. She talked with her cousin Elizabeth, and she'd been encouraged, and she doubled down on her faith. And as the story zooms in on Mary, then we get a special glimpse, a first glimpse at this baby, at this Jesus. And he's wrapped in swaddling cloths, and he's laid in a manger, we're told, because there's no room for them anywhere else in this town. And what I find most interesting is nobody else knows this is happening. Everything about this story is so quiet. No one knows. There is an angelic announcement on a hillside with shepherds, and there is a star that dignitaries in the east can see, and it makes them so curious they'll travel to meet this Jesus later. But in this moment, it's a baby crying in the night and a mother exhausted trying to figure out how to care for a little one. And here at the manger, this story is quite mundane. It's so ordinary in its dynamics and its disappointments. No, we don't have empires, but we, more than most recent generations, know that stuff that happens on a global scale can change the way we go about our everyday lives. Some of y'all are traveling for the first time in 3 years. And that's wonderful. We're so glad you're here. But this story is so ordinary, and all of these dynamics, all of these disappointments, and yet you and I might assume, or at least me, that God's biggest things should be obvious in their bigness, and they should be evident by the splash they make on the day that they land. But we have to admit, we are so fragile in what we know, so very limited. And friend, at least I, and maybe you too, gets confused at times in what we think matters most. We can be so fragile in even our patience. And so a simple story about a baby on a night that's so mundane, we might miss how significant this is. As author and pastor Max Lucado writes in his book, God Came Near, this all happened in a moment, a most remarkable moment that was like none other. God became a man. God was given eyebrows, elbows, 2 kidneys, and a spleen. I don't know which side the spleen goes on. God had come near. No silk, no ivory, no hype. And to think of Jesus in such a light, it almost feels irreverent, doesn't it? It's much easier to keep the humanity out of the incarnation, but don't do that. We need to let Jesus be as human as he intends to be. We need to let him into the mire and the muck of our world, for only if we let him in can he pull us out. And so just as we can't tell Jesus' story without talking about Mary, I think if Mary were able to speak to us today, she would say, friends, I can't tell my story without talking about him. She showed up in Jesus' life certainly because she was his mother, but I wonder if after a very short time of having him, if she started to understand he was showing up in her life, that Jesus was punctuating the story of her life, that Mary's life is punctuated by the presence of Jesus, is what I'd like for us to consider today. And come to think of it, Jesus' presence punctuates everything. There's scriptures in the Bible that tell us that, but my favorite way to get at that idea that Jesus' presence punctuates everything is from a children's book, a Christmas children's book that my kids have. It's called Song of the Stars, and I'd like to recite the last half of it for you. Song of the Stars, last half goes like this. In a little town, in a little shed, in a little window, a candle flickered in the dark. And a tiny cry rang out in the cold night air, and high above a single star shone in the highest heavens. It shone out brighter than all the others and poured down silver onto this little shed, a light to light up the whole world. The animals stood around his bed, and the whole earth and all the stars in the sky held their breath. The one who made us has come to live with us. And a young mother with no place to rest, nowhere to stay, kept it as a song in her heart, our rescuer. And they gazed in wonder at God's great gift, lying on a bed of straw, wrapped in rags, a tiny little baby. Heaven's son, sleeping under the stars he made. I love that story because it helps me hear what the scriptures I know are saying, like Hebrews chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. That Jesus is God's Son, who is appointed the heir of all things, and through whom God created the world. He's the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature, and he upholds the universe by the word of his power. Or Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 20. Jesus is the image of the invisible God. He's the firstborn over all of creation. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, things we can see, things we can't see. He is before all things. In him all things hold together. He's the head of the body, the church. He's the beginning, the firstborn, raised from the dead, that in everything he might be first. For in Jesus all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things in heaven, all things on earth, making peace by his blood on the cross. Jesus punctuates everything, friend. That's the story we tell at Christmas. All of this who Jesus is makes me think back to Mary, who got to discover it firsthand and first in the timeline. But we must understand, Mary is not a spectacle. She's not there for our entertainment. She's an invitation. Mary's story is shared with us so that you and I might ask this question: does Jesus punctuate my life as well? Does the presence of Jesus punctuate my life? Understanding the presence of Jesus in your life is a little bit like driving on a country road. You either turn onto it or you continue on it. There's not a lot of choices on a country road. Same thing with Jesus, friend. When you hear about Jesus, the one who was born, God incarnate, to live with us, to know us, to love us, to save us, you have to do something with it. You can ask more questions, that's fair. You can reject Jesus. That's okay, but you can also accept him. And you can believe in this gift of God, this unique thing that God has done for the whole world, for any who would believe in Jesus, that they might know him as the light of their life. So friend, whether or not for you belief is kind of something that might start today, or it's something you've just found yourself, a road you've been traveling for some stretch of your life, we don't have to worry about how we got onto the highway, but I do want to encourage you to be on it, because Jesus is so special that he would have us consider perhaps he intends to punctuate your life and mine as well. We have a tradition at Calvary, and it's the last thing I'm going to share before we sing a little more. It's a candle lighting. If you would stand and get your candle. And I think we're going to close the windows too, which is going to help us out. Thanks, Brad. Hey, kids, do whatever your parents tell you to do, all right? Friends, these little candles, they always fascinate me. Because even though it's a small candle with a small wick, the light of the candle always punctuates the air around it. And it doesn't matter how many of our candles get lit, and we are going to light them all. You'll notice that your candle punctuates the air around it with its light. So as we hold our candles and as we sing, would you consider that Jesus intends to punctuate your life, even next to others who also believe? And that as each candle gets lit, that's part of what we're doing today is to bring light to the world, to tell his story for the world. So however you see the candle, would you sing from your heart? And would you recognize that Jesus intends to punctuate our lives with his goodness and with his presence? That's what we celebrate this Christmas.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round the Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sound, glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
With the flickering of that candlelight in the room at night, and having simply lost her breath at the wonder of God's promise through Gabriel that a Savior would come through her own child, Mary could not help but simply sing out in praise. And that is our response as well. Would you join with me as we simply read Mary's Song of Christ together? For this is, in fact, our response as well on the screen. Join with me. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked on the humble estate of his servant. For behold, from now on all generations will call me blessed, for he who is mighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. And his mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the mighty from their thrones and exalted those of humble estate. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent away empty. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his offspring forever. May God's word bring blessing to everyone, all of us here. Feel free to blow out your candle. And folks, it has indeed been an honor to spend this time with you this afternoon on Christmas Eve. We have been praying that this time would in fact be one of those very important pauses in our lives to simply fix our eyes on Jesus, because we recognize that this season, perhaps more than any other time, who is our hope? It is Jesus. Why? Because he loves us. Why? Because he is the compassionate Lord who has more hope to give than we have ability to receive. And so as you go for tomorrow, whether you are with traveling, whether you are with friends or family, our hope is that it will be a day of wonder, but also of a reminder of Jesus Christ together. And so be sure as you go out, feel free to simply drop the candles at the door as you go back out. And if you're a first-time guest with us this afternoon, we would love to get to know you. In fact, please feel free to stop off. There's a big desk. There's a great big sign that says Big Desk out there if you're new to the church. And we have a gift that we would like to be able to give to you. And of course, you are all welcome to come back tomorrow morning for Christmas services. It'll be just a short, informal time together. And folks, Merry Christmas, and go in God's blessing.
This is service number 1, though.
Yeah, we're going to keep the stream going, but I just want to wish you very Merry Christmas. You can connect with us each and every day on social media at Calvary Online, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the places. Again, we'd love to connect with you, so if you fill out the Connect card, we'd love that, calvary.church/connect.
And then, if you are in need of prayer, if you have any prayer requests, we would love to. We over here at Calvary would love to be praying with you.
Absolutely.
So if you have anything, there will be a button in the chat that you can click on, and that will request prayer. It will be with one of the staff members here at Calvary.
Mm-hmm.
But also, even on the Connect card, there's a great way for you to also just put any prayer requests you have down on that as well. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Merry Christmas. Hope that this week is great for you and for yours. If you're traveling, please be safe.
Absolutely.
We look forward to connecting. We'll be actually on tomorrow morning for Christmas morning. And then again, next week and New Year's Day, we'll have our normal online service as well. So go in grace and peace and have a very Merry Christmas this year.